ways of life, the natural ways of being able to deal with difficulties and problems that we encounter throughout our life. And I hope that these verses will be a blessing to you. So we're in Proverbs, and we're going to be looking in chapter 12. We're going to start around verse 12. We've talked about, remember if you were here the last week or two, the first part of it talked about the idea of, discussed womanhood, talked about different types of women. One that was good, that built her home and built her family, and that, and the other one tore it down. It talked about being able to work and working hard, and the blessings that come with that. And these verses continue that, but it also has been talking about the idea of being honest, and these verses also continue to talk about being honest. Solomon teaches his children. This is, he teaches, of course, the whole nation of Israel. And by the way, Solomon was greatly respected, not only by Israel, but he was respected by all the little kingdoms all around. He was respected by all the other nations. So he taught not only his own family, which he had a very large family, but he taught the nations around. And he probably ruled by a lot of these. And Solomon is considered one of the wisest men who has ever lived. And I always like to add this to that. Even though Solomon was very wise and knew a lot, he was just like us in this. Even though he knew what was right, he didn't always do what was right, and got himself in trouble numerous times. He just like us. And so anyway, let me read. I'm going to do this a verse by verse at a time. I hope I can be a blessing to you. Verse 12 of chapter 12 of Proverbs. The wicked desireth the net of evil men. That's an interesting thought. But the root of the righteous yieldeth fruit. He's speaking here, evil people, evil men, are jealous of other evil men. Thieves, liars, even murderers hang out together. They run around together. They prefer company, like company. And they're always fighting. Evil people, they're always arguing, fighting. It's just part of their makeup. However, on the other hand, a good man or a good woman will help other people succeed in life. You find pleasure. If you have goodness in your heart, you don't have a jealous heart. A jealous heart is when somebody succeeds or gets something, you get kind of jealous of it, and it creates jealousy is the old green-eyed monster, as they say. But a good man rejoices with others who have success in their life. Rejoice with them, be glad for them, be thankful for them. A good man finds pleasure in seeing other people succeed in life. They do not have and do not deal with jealousies. Verse 13 and 14 I put together. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just shall come out of trouble. A man shall be satisfied with the good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands shall be rendered unto him. I think most of us can understand that. It's talking about working and being steady Eddie at working. Verse 13 and 14, first of all, he says, lying will get you into trouble. My granny taught me this little saying. And I've remembered it pretty much my whole life. Oh, what webs we weave when first we practice to deceive. And Solomon was teaching his children that honesty is the best policy. I imagine we've all said that throughout our life. Honesty is the best policy. Being honest will keep you out of a lot of unnecessary trouble. Being honest will keep you out of a lot of unnecessary trouble. He teaches his kids, he teaches us, telling the truth brings satisfaction and makes for good and long-lasting relationships. I'll tell you a little story about your preacher. I was 15 years old. I skipped out of school. That was fun till I got caught. When I got caught, hey Jojo, when I got caught, I was with my buddy Eddie, I was with my buddy Kenny, and we went to the shake shop and we thought we were cool McCool. You know, that wasn't very smart because everybody saw us. It was during school. And 2 or 3 people saw, and guess what? My parents found out. I thought, I got away with it. I thought I got away with it, David. I thought, man, I had a ball that day. Well, honesty is the best policy. My dad said, Paul, did you go to school today? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He already knew I didn't. He gave me an opportunity to come clean and be honest. Rhonda, you know what my dad done? You see that wall over there? My head hit the back of my head hit that wall. And you know what? I said, yes, Dad, I skipped school. Yes, Dad, I skipped school. I come clean. But man, my dad said, Paul, I didn't do that because you skipped school. I did that because you lied to me. Honesty is the best policy, guys. I forgot that lesson. And I tried my best, even if it meant getting in trouble, to tell the truth to my parents all the way on and on. Telling the truth brings its own satisfaction, and it makes for good. Telling the truth makes for good and long-lasting relationships. Telling the truth, he puts 2 things together, telling the truth and working hard. Telling the truth and working hard. He said those 2 things together will bring God's favor upon your life, or God's blessings upon your life. Telling the truth and working hard. Working hard brings success. Working hard brings success. And it doesn't mean, by the way, when you work hard, it doesn't mean you can't take time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Solomon even taught us that. It's okay to enjoy the fruit of your labor. That means it's okay. You go out, you work all week or whatever you do, you get paid, it's okay for you to enjoy the fruit of your labor. Verse 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto wise counsel, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. The foolish man thinks wrongly, but he thinks that he needs no advice. If you're making a pretty big decision in life, it's important that you go and find somebody to talk to before you make that decision. Talk to somebody. You're buying a car or getting married, Velma. You go and you talk to somebody. A wise person or a foolish person thinks they need no advice. Why? Because they already know it all. They already know it all. But the wise man, if you want to be wise, the wise man or woman will listen to wise counsel. They actually seek it out. I always kind of say it like this. If you're going into business, you want to find somebody who's been successful in business. You don't want to find somebody who's declared bankruptcy after bankruptcy after bankruptcy. You want to find somebody who's been successful in business. That's who you want to talk to if you start a business. Find somebody who's had success. They know what it takes. They know the sacrifice. They know the hard work and on that it's going to take. If you're going to have success, you need some advice. Seek it out. And a wise person is always willing to learn. Always willing to learn. Only the fool already knows it all. And I said on this next one, verse 16, this is one that I think all of us could probably use. Verse 16, let me read it for us. A fool's wrath is presently known, but a prudent man covereth shame. Oh, what is it telling us? A foolish response doesn't mean you're a fool. It means that sometimes we say some foolish things. Anybody guilty of that, at least? We've all said a few foolish things along the way. Solomon says a foolish response will be triggered by getting mad too quick. We get mad, we respond in our anger, we respond foolishly. And that's what he says. So the thought is keep your cool. Keep your cool when perhaps someone has, and let me say, I'll be the first to say, when someone says something that is insulting or hurtful, it is hard to keep your cool. I'm the first to say it. But Solomon is teaching us the person, if you just respond with anger or while you're angry, probably you're going to be kind of foolish in your response. And that's what he's teaching here. So keep your cool. I say keep your cool when everybody else has lost it. You keep your cool. There's an old saying that I learned through the years. Whoever gets angry first will lose the battle. Whoever gets angry first will lose the battle. I don't know if that's always true or not, but I've heard that throughout my life. And here's another one. Whoever angers you will be able to control you. Whoever angers you. So keep your cool. Answer later. Don't just fly off the handle, is that the way it goes? Don't fly off the handle. Whoever angers you will be able to control you. Learn to keep your cool. And I said, answer the situation or talk a little bit later. Don't do it while you're still angry. You answer sometimes foolishly. We've all been there. I said, sometimes it's like this. Sometimes we might lose a battle, but we're trying to win the war. So sometimes it's okay to let somebody feel like they won. You're in it for the long run is what I'm trying to get you to see. Answer later. Why? Because if you answer too quick, you may still be angry and respond very foolishly. And I would say, I'm the first to admit, I'm sure I've done that in my lifetime, and more than likely most of us have. Verse 17, he that speaketh truth showeth righteousness, but a false witness deceit. A good man is known by his honesty. I'm going to say a good man or woman, either way. A good man or woman, they are known by their honesty. They're known by their honesty. They're known by their hard work and steady work. They're known by that. They have a testimony of that. They have learned what Solomon has been teaching. And I mentioned it just a minute ago that honesty is the best policy. And hard work will bring success. Hard work will bring success. The other one, he says, that a foolish man, his lips is his undoing. He just keeps talking, and eventually he says, this is what he's teaching, a liar will soon be found out by his own lips. His own lips will tell on him. Jesus said in the New Testament, and I wrote this text down, John 8, verse 44. Satan is the father of all lies. Satan is the one who created deceit and lies. I ask myself, why is Satan such a liar? Because he doesn't know the truth, or he doesn't have the truth, one of the two. That old song, I resist Satan, he will flee. When you quote the Bible, he will leave. The Bible is very powerful whenever you are in a battle. And you can be in a battle with friends, family, just people that, you can just be in a battle. So be careful about answering too quick. Don't answer. And let me say this also. Listen to this. Solomon also taught us this, that if you quit putting wood on the fire, it'll go out. If you quit putting wood on the fire will go out. So stop. If there's a discussion gets heated, okay, let's just stop. You stop. Don't put any more wood on the fire, because it'll eventually go out. Verse 18. There is that speaketh like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise is health. To me, that's a very beautiful thought. The first part tells us there are some people who are always making cutting remarks, the piercings of a sword. There are some people who are always making cutting remarks. I don't know why they feel inclined to do that, but there are people who make cutting remarks. By the way, cutting remarks can be a lot of different things. Cutting remarks can be things perhaps that are in your past that you wish could some way go away. Cutting remarks can be things, perhaps mistakes that you have made or I have made, and people won't let it go away. They just have to say it. They have to remind you, keep bringing it up. It's already a sore spot in your life. But people have cutting remarks, and he said they're like the piercing. Here he's talking about piercing. And I put down here, especially relatives. Relatives know you really well. Jesus did all kinds of miracles. Y'all know that? He did all kinds of miracles except in Nazareth. And he did a few there, but he didn't do very many because that's where he was raised. And people didn't respect him, nor his ministry where he was raised. What I'm telling you that for is sometimes people, even our family, and oftentimes our family can say things that really hurt. They try to hurt others with their words. Now, I hope you're not that kind of person, period. I hope you can, as they say, bite your tongue sometimes. But on the other hand, the latter part of that verse, on the other hand, a wise man speaks words of healing. A wise man speaks words of healing. Their words soothe. They're not easily angered. They bring peace to a volatile situation. They're the peacemakers. Let's see, what was it Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount? Blessed are the peacemakers. Blessed are the peacemakers. So a wise man will speak words that will bring peace to a situation. They also speak words of comfort. A wise man will speak words of comfort. And I said, even healing. You know, you got a volatile situation, or if you got a broken relationship, a wise man will figure out, perhaps maybe as an arbitrator, maybe bring peace to a volatile situation. They can even perhaps bring healing to a broken relationship. Something about a broken relationship. Sometimes a broken relationship, it's hard to mend. A brother offended puts up iron bars that are hard to penetrate. Someone that perhaps you said something that offended, they put up iron bars to keep you out. And being able to mend that. And I'll tell all you parents something. Robert, you remember this. You got a little baby coming up. But all you parents remember this. Sometimes you get so mad at your kids, you know what I mean? You get so upset and da-da-da-da-da. Don't ever burn the bridges. Don't do that. Some way, somehow, keep an open door. Who knows, down the road they may be helping you. So don't do that. Watch that. Don't let the anger get so where you say things that you know if you hadn't been angry, you wouldn't have said them. Don't let that happen. Don't burn bridges in family situations. Let your words be words of peace and comfort and healing. That's a wise man's response. Now, verse 19. The lip of truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Truth stands the test of time. Truth is truth 1,000 years from now. Truth is truth forever. It is truth. And of course, we know Jesus said that He is the way, the truth, and the life. But truth will stand the test of time. However, He says liars will soon be exposed. And I ask this question. Have you ever wanted to correct someone who was lying? Have you ever wanted to stop them when they were lying?
Every time I see a Democrat.
I let too much time go in between there. Don't worry. Solomon tells us that a liar will soon be found out. And what is the best way to deal with that kind of individual? According to Solomon, have little or nothing to do with them. Have little or nothing to do with them. Be careful about getting involved in a relationship where it is constant arguing or differences. Try to avoid that if at all possible. Solomon says that person will soon be found out. I'll give you verse 19 and 20, then we'll stop. Oh, well, I'm sorry, I gave you 19. Verse 20. Deceit. Someone who deceives. Deceit is in the heart of them that imagine evil. But to the counselors, the people who have wise counsel, the counselors of peace, is joy. Truth will always be true. A person, male or female, a person who tells the truth is filled with both satisfaction and joy. It feels good to tell the truth. You know, it feels good. Like I said, come clean, you know. It feels good to tell the truth. But he says the heart of the liar or the evil man is filled with deceit and fear. Deceit and fear. Good men. Good men. Well, I've got men, but I'm going to add ladies in there too. I'm just so used to writing it like that. Good men and women. Good men and women are always planning to do good. In their heart, there's a lot of good things. They do not lay around at night. They do not dream of doing evil. They think of good. Good men plan to do good. Their heart and their life is filled with joy and rejoicing. The result of that, they will be greatly loved. The person whose heart is filled with joy and good deeds, they will be greatly loved. Their riches, the riches that Solomon talks about, their riches cannot be bought with money. Their riches cannot be bought with money. I'm going to stop right there, and I'll start on verse 21 next week. I hope we're gaining a little bit of insight about life, because that's what my purpose is to help us learn how to deal with everyday situations. And I know that you don't always deal with all of these, but you do probably deal with some of them sometime in your life. All right, let's take time for prayer.